Hey, welcome back to the show. Since I bought the JCM 800, a tone that I was really interested in trying to get was Metallica's Ride the Lightning. It's a really iconic tone, and I just wanted to capture it using the JCM 800 with the Ibanez Tube Screamer in front, just like James had it in the studio. He said he didn't really like that tone much. He just had his old amp stolen and they borrowed the gear for the recording process. For the guitar that James was using, he had his Jackson King V and it had the Invader pickups in it, the Seymour Duncan Invaders, which are a ceramic magnet. So for today I don't have those. I've actually just got the SH6 ceramic magnets. We're going through the Marshall JCM 800, through the Torpedo Captor X, where I'm simulating the Dave Mustaine cab. I'm not too concerned trying to get the exact speaker combination that they used on the album, as it really is just to see how the JCM 800 sort of works with the Tube Screamer, with a bit of EQ going through the effects loop, just to try and get a really solid foundation for the tone. And then just through the pedal board, we're going through the Fortin Zuul Plus Noise Gate, which is using the 4-cable method, using the key in and through feature. It's super quiet. All through the front end, we've got different ODs here. Some have asymmetric clipping, some have symmetrical clipping. We'll talk about that after. And then in the effects loop, we've got the Puppet Master EQ from Master Effects, the MXR 10 band, and the Empress Reverb, which is downstream of the Zuul, just so we get a nice tail to try and emulate the record. Anyway, on with the tones with no effects applied to the amp at all. All we've got right now is just the raw amp. And now I'll just turn on the Ibanez Tube Screamer just to add that little bit of growl to it. If we turn that drive up a little bit more, things get a little bit gravelly. And you can see when the level's all the way up on that and you just feed in enough drive just before it starts to break up too much, you just get a really fat tone that sort of sounds like the record. But from there, if we just kick in the Puppet Master EQ, it just scoops out a little bit of those mid frequencies, gives a little bit thicker to the bass end, and just adds the right amount of treble, like hair, to the top of it. It really makes it. And then from there, if we just add that whole reverb just to really finish off the tone. And that's exactly sort of what I was hoping for with this combination. It really does seem to get that right ballpark. The right frequencies are met when you put the spectrums together and things. But from there, I just thought we'd just try different ODs just in front. As the Ibanez TS-9 Tube Screamer, that's a symmetrical clipping, meaning that on the clipping circuit that's going through, the top and bottom of the waveform are getting clipped with the distortion, so that it just seems to be more sort of saturated distortion. Whereas if we go to the Boss SD1, it's asymmetrical clipping, meaning only one side of the waveform's clipped, so it carries a little bit of the true guitar sound through it, but this one also takes away a bit of the bass as well. Move on to the next variant of that. It's the Wild Overdrive, a very similar overdrive to the SD1, but it's just a bit fatter of a tone. And the last OD I've got here is the Mudkiller by Electric Eye Audio, and this is also symmetrical clipping. It's almost like the TS-9, but I just think it just goes a little bit further and it can saturate the signal a fair bit more without seeming to push the front end too hard, driving into that sort of gravelly edge. You can just really get like more distortion out of the amp. And if things start to break up a little bit too soon, you've got the mud control here just to take away some of those bass frequencies. So this is just a really cool overdrive. Super cool OD right there, but just for nostalgia, I just wanted to see how this tone would work with the TS-9 through the front end of the 800. I didn't have a TS-9 until just recently. I'd sold it years back when I did like an A and B of all my ODs and figured that the Wild one at the time with the rig I was using was the best, and sort of short-sighted that I didn't think that different overdrives actually have different strengths with different amps. So just going through the effects loop now, we're using the Puppet Master EQ. I'll just turn that off and try and resemble a similar sort of tone using the MXR 10 band. And I guess from there, I really didn't want to play the two EQs off against each other saying which one's better, because they really have different purposes. But for this tone, I just find that the Puppet Master EQ just seems to enhance without too much color to the tone. It doesn't seem to take anything away from what the amp has. It just makes those frequencies that you like just stand out just a little bit more. So it's just a really subtle EQ that just works fantastic for this tone. And you can see the difference. I couldn't really hone in the same way with the MXR 10 band, but for other tones, it's got its strengths as well. So, but all that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed the video using the JCM 800 again. Ibanez Tube Scream, a bit of EQ, perfect tone, fantastic. Anyway, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.